Hello and welcome. You're with us here in Business Today. I'm Abha Bakaya. Here are the day's top stories. India's giant leap towards Atmanirbharta in car safety ratings. Nitin Gadkari inaugurates Bharat NCAP program. Enthusiastic response by the industry. 30 requests for testing already received. Government rushes to placate angry onion traders in Maharashtra. Agencies to buy 5 lakh tons at record high prices will also sell onions across India at 25 rupees a kilo to bring down eye-watering prices. Finance Ministry report says inflation to remain high in the coming months, blames it on global uncertainties and domestic disruptions. New crop arrivals and imports to ease price pressures. The new direct tax code will have no income tax exemptions, announces the chairman of the Prime Minister Economic Advisory Council, says exemptions only increase costs, calls for higher taxes to develop infrastructure. Sensex and Nifty end flat, even as small and mid-cap stocks surge in trade today. PSU metal and IT shares shine. Mixed global cues keep investors guessing. Jio Financial shares hit lower circuit for second consecutive day since its listing, loses $2 billion in valuation in 2 days. Exchanges postpone its exclusion from indices for 3 days. India has taken a giant leap towards Atmanirbharta in car safety ratings. The Ministry of Road Transport and Highways today launched the new Bharat Car Assessment Program, or the Bharat NCAP, to evaluate safety standards of passenger vehicles. According to the minister, requests to test and certify more than 30 models from several automakers have already been received.
Cars being deliberately smashed against walls. Wired mannequins in them sending real-time data on damages and injuries. Getting a 5-star rating in these tests can break or make a car model. Companies like Tata, Mahindra, Maruti had sent to their models overseas for these tests, incurring huge expenses. From the 1st October, these tests will be conducted right here in India. Under the Bharat NCAP program, passenger vehicles that can accommodate up to 8 passengers and weigh up to 3.5 ton will be tested. These vehicles will be tested through various methods that are in sync with global NCAP and Euro NCAP crash testing protocols and will be assigned a safety rating ranging between 0 and 5 stars. The comprehensive criteria for the star ratings include facets such as pedestrian-friendly design, structural robustness, provision of active and passive safety technologies, as well as safety provisions for both adult and child occupants.
It is really, I cannot explain it in the world. And this is the time that we have the highest priority for this, how we can save the life of the people. And road safety is the most important thing for that. But it is not only the automobile industry is responsible. Somewhere road engineering is a big problem. Our total process of making a detailed project report is it's totally wrong methodology, and we select the agency, they create a lot of problems, there are a lot of complications, and because of that also we are facing the problem.
The government has already received requests to test and certify more than 30 models from several automakers under the assessment program. The program is voluntary and tests the base variant of a given model.
Already more than 30 applications have been received because this whole exercise was done in consultation with the industry, and therefore industry was very positive about it. And already on today's day of launch, 30 applications for testing have been received.
According to the Road Transport Ministry, the program's objective is to furnish car consumers with a tool for making comparative evaluations of the crash safety attributes of motor vehicles available in the market. There are, however, concerns that the crash test could lead to prices hikes by manufacturers.
As and when the new additional features are added, it comes at a cost. So definitely that will increase the cost. But as I said, for us, we already have the safety pack in place. So frankly, for us it won't. But players who do not have these features and they have to add it afresh, definitely they will increase the prices.
This, of course, this will encourage manufacturers to do more towards safety beyond what is required by regulation and go for higher stars. So that's a positive step. And since the government is involved, it gives some authenticity and objectivity. That's a positive.
Importantly, the Bharat NCAP test will provide a big boost to exports from India. The tough NCAP rules mean that Indian results will be accepted across more countries. The government also expects foreign car manufacturers to start testing their cars in India. With Chetan Bhutani, Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
Apple is looking at expanding its manufacturing operations in India. Senior government sources have told Business Today TV that top representatives from Apple India recently held a detailed meeting with officials from the Finance Ministry to discuss their plans for expanding iPhone manufacturing. According to sources, discussions centered around the future of smartphone manufacturing within India and how India's policies could be aligned to support this initiative. Karishma Sudani has more on this for us. Karishma?
Well, we do have our sources in the Ministry of Finance confirming us that Apple India team had a detailed discussion with officials of the Finance Ministry in India. In fact, we've been told that discussions were held on how India emerges as to be one of the key investment countries when it comes to the smartphone industry. In fact, the tech giant also shared with India that they do see value creation in the coming years in the country, and they do want India to be one of the emerging countries besides Vietnam and Cambodia as the spot of investment and manufacturing of iPhones. This also kind of drifts away China from the whole plan of leading and holding a monopoly in the smartphone manufacturing market. We're also told that government is in a positive cooperation with the whole concept of smartphone manufacturing in India, and if required may consider certain tax incentives to companies.
Thanks, Karishma. In one of the surest signs of the direction that the government is heading in, Bibek Debroy has called for removal of tax exemptions. Debroy, the chairperson of the Economic Advisory Council to the Prime Minister, today called for tax reforms and suggested that the provision of exemptions and direct taxes should be eliminated. Speaking at an event in Kolkata, he said exemptions lead to higher costs of compliance for the taxpayer. He also highlighted that if Indians aspire for growth and want world-class infrastructure, they should be ready to pay higher taxes. The government has been moving towards slowly weeding out tax exemptions, with the new income tax regime offering exemption-less higher tax slabs.
The eventual direct tax code, in my view, will involve a complete elimination of all exemptions. Any exemption only makes life more complicated. Any exemption only increases compliance costs. Any exemption only leads to litigation. Any exemption only enriches chartered accountants and lawyers. So whether we like it or not, either we must be prepared to pay more as taxes, or our expectations cannot be that we will get airports like in the West, or railway stations like in China, or whatever.
Markets were flat today, unchanged from their previous close. Bulls did attempt to take charge, but fag end selling in heavyweights erased the day's gains. All eyes on global cues to direct the markets in the near term. The Sensex and Nifty both pretty much unchanged for the session. Top gainers today: Adani Enterprise, HDFC Life, ITC, NTPC and Hero MotoCorp. We'll bring those up for you in just a second. So those are some of the names that stood out. While on the losers end, we had Jio Financial Services, once again BPCL, Cipla, Eicher Motors and Bajaj Finserv. New age technology stocks were in demand today, with several brokerage reports raising estimates for their stock prices. Some of the stocks like Nykaa, Paytm and Zomato were among big gainers today, with the Nifty Digital Index ending up 0.67%, second to only the PSU indices. My colleague Sakshi Batra spoke to market analyst Kranti Patini to gauge the market mood for some of these counters.
For any investor looking at the new age tech basket, what would you really recommend? How should one really approach? Is this the right time, first of all, to jump into some of them, start building up their positions, nibbling into some of them, because now we are seeing profitability come in and fundamentals improving for some of them. Is this the right time?
Absolutely, Sakshi. I believe this is the right time for the new age companies. Investors want to take their positions because, as you rightly mentioned, one thing is fundamentals are improving, profitability is coming back, and also valuations are not stretched as it were they were at the time of listing. So it is a very good price range for any investor who want to take their position, but they can take in a staggered manner. There is no hurry to buy and jump at this point of time. Probably they can buy at dips in their portfolio, but absolutely it's the right time to start taking the position in these new age companies.
Okay, so if I were to ask you, Mr. Patini, that out of all of these names that we've discussed, Paytm, Policy Bazaar, Zomato, Car Trade Technologies, and also Delivery and CE Info Systems, maybe Nykaa also, if I have to discuss with you, which are the best placed stocks to really keep their focus on? Investors, where should they keep their focus on now?
The first priority goes to Sakshi, definitely to 197. The Paytm is the favorite pick at this point of time. The remaining also at an appropriate point of time, one need to take the decision as per the price movements and the earning visibility improves for these stocks.
Okay, and you know, some of them, like we already have seen a 50% surge coming in. Where do you see fair value still, you know, on the stock coming in, and where do you believe that, you know, the stocks are now poised to perhaps reach their issue prices once again?
That's a very interesting question, Sakshi. Okay, one thing is the stock have completely taken a U-turn and they formed a base, and it's a process, and they're right now inching towards in a higher trend. One good thing that happened in these stocks is they are in the trend for most of these companies are in an uptrend. The trend has emerged in a positive territory. So always investors need to keep their trend as their friend.
The central government has stepped up efforts to soothe the rising tempers of onion traders in Maharashtra. Central Purchasing Agency have been ordered to procure 5 lakh ton onions at very attractive prices. What's more, the government has hinted that it may waive the 40% export duty on shipments which have already reached ports.
Anger spilling over to the streets of Nashik. Traders from Lassalgaon and Ahmednagar onion mandis staged demonstrations and chakka jams, protesting the government's decision to hit onion exports with a 40% duty. Mandis, usually overflowing with onions, were deserted this morning, with traders and commission agents of Nashik, which boasts the largest wholesale onion market in Asia, boycotting trade from Monday.
व्यापारी लोकल मार्केट में जो प्याज है ये इसके भाव गिर जाएंगे और शेतकरी का बड़ा नुकसान हो जाएगा। पहले ही शेतकरी ने जब सीजन में कांदा शुरुआत में 300 रुपए 400 रुपए क्विंटल बेचना पड़ा, आज बड़ी मुश्किल से भाव थोड़े सुधर रहे थे, लेकिन केंद्र सरकार ने ये निर्यात मूल्य बढ़ाकर किसानों का बहुत बड़ा नुकसान किया है।
The government has reacted quickly to the flare-up, announcing that central procurement agencies like NCCF and NAFED will buy 2 lakh tons of onions over and above the 3 lakh tons bought in the past couple of days from the Nashik area. The procurement will be done at record prices of 2,410 rupees per 100 kilos. The agencies will also sell onions across the country at subsidized rates of 25 rupees a kilo.
NCCF और नैफेड देश के अलग अलग इलाकों में 25 रुपए पर सब्सिडाइज्ड रेट पर केंद्र सरकार वो सब्सिडी उपलब्ध कराएगी। सब्सिडाइज्ड रेट पर प्याज उपभोक्ताओं के लिए, सामान्य आदमियों के लिए, सामान्य लोगों के लिए उपलब्ध कराएगी।
What's more, in an effort to cool tempers, the government seems willing to waive the newly imposed 40% export duty on onions, which have already reached ports.
कुछ सामान पोर्ट के अंदर शिपमेंट के लिए, एक्सपोर्ट के लिए गया है, उसकी जानकारी JNPT वगैरह से हम ले रहे हैं। अगर वो पोर्ट के अंदर जाके शिपिंग बिल फाइल हो गया है 40% ड्यूटी लगने के पहले, तो उस पर उचित निर्णय DGFT लेंगे।
The centre seems to have staved off a crisis, both economic and political for now. Onions have after all been known to topple governments in the country. However, the real impact of the record procurement prices for 5 lakh tons of onions could be felt sooner than later. Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
The Income Tax Department has issued a new circular clarifying rules on the taxability of non-unit linked life insurance policies. This is following the budget announcement that the maturity proceeds of traditional policies have an aggregate premium exceeding 5 lakh rupees will become taxable. Teena, Jain, Kaushal, editor Money Today, spoke to Sudin, Sabnis, partner Nangia, Andersen about what it means for taxpayers.
Welcome, Mr. Sudin. Please tell us what are these new rules about?
Sure, thank you. Glad to be here. So, Teena, basically, prior to the budget 2023, the payouts what were made on life insurance policies were generally tax-free. So there was an exemption specifically what was there with respect to a payout of a life insurance policy. There were certain conditions attached, but generally they were tax-free if those conditions were met. Now there has been an amendment wherein they have introduced a key rule. So the rule is basically if the premium what is paid on the policies what are taken after 1st of April 2023 as a single policy or as an aggregate of the policies what are being taken post 1st of April 2023 exceeds 5 lakhs in a financial year, then the maturity payouts for such policies will now be taxed. This is the key change what has taken place. Now this will be taxed as income from other sources to the extent the maturity proceeds exceed the premium payouts, the premium what has been paid. Now thing is there were a lot of ambiguities in the meanwhile since this change had come in, because there were a lot of clarifications required as to, for example, what happens to my existing policies, what were taken before 1st of April 2023, what happens for example, to the threshold of 5 lakh, how is that to be calculated? For example, there's a GST element as well, but what goes in the premium, whether that is to be included in the calculation of 5 lakhs. When it comes to a term policy, is that also to be included in this calculation of 5 lakhs? What happens in case I've got multiple policies? So there were a lot of ambiguities what are now sort of addressed by way of this circular. So this circular is something which is a guideline. A lot of examples have been provided, which generally clarifies on the taxability of the payouts what will be received with respect to such policies.
If I can take one example, supposedly I have 3 policies of rupees 2 lakh each on 1st April 2023. So will all 3 be exempted, or the third one particularly where I'm actually crossing this limit of 5 lakh will be taxable?
Absolutely. So in this case, only to the extent of the third policy wherein it exceeds the limit of 5 lakhs, only that policy will be taxable. The first 2 will still remain tax exempt when it comes to the maturity proceeds.
Okay. So can I also decide which policy to be tax exempted to maximize my tax benefit? Is this provision available?
Yes, so this has also been clarified in the circular. So what the circular provides is that where, for instance, the policies are being taken in case of multiple policies, of course, wherein uh, you do have payouts which will exceed the premium of which will exceed 5 lakh rupees. You can choose to the best possible extent whatever is beneficial for you, what will become taxable and what will become exempt. So that is in the hands of the policy holder, or basically of the taxpayer.
Diamonds may be forever, but that does not mean the industry's success is guaranteed as well. India's largest diamond hub, Surat, is facing the heat of the Russia-Ukraine war. With the primary source of raw materials choked off, workers in Surat are losing jobs and some have even committed suicide, reportedly due to financial hardship. We bring you this report on the crisis.
90% of all diamonds sold globally are processed in Surat. 6,000 units in Surat cut and polish rough diamonds sourced from around the world. More than 1 million craftsmen and other workers are employed by Surat diamond industry. 1.6 trillion rupees, that is what Surat generates as revenue every year. But the sparkle at India's diamond hub has a dark side as well. As many as 9 workers have committed suicide in the past few weeks. More than 20,000 workers have lost their jobs as Surat grapples with its worst crisis till date. Diamond units have cut back on working hours, hitting the earnings of workers by as much as 30%. Staff have been sent on unpaid leaves, sometimes as long as a month.
The US-Russia war is one of the major reasons because of the sanctions of the rough from the Russian states, and अपना इंडिया तो रफ प्रोड्यूस करता नहीं एक्सेप्ट पन्ना माइंस, सो हमको अफ्रीका या रशिया से डिपेंडेंट है, so that is one. Second is global crisis similar to what we have seen. I am saying it is like a 2008, so slightly down. And third most important reason was the advent of lab-grown diamond.
Surat's diamond industry sources around 35% of its diamond supplies from Russia. That avenue is now choked due to Western sanctions on Russia. Though lab-grown diamonds with a price advantage of 15 to 20% have substituted the real stones to a large extent, softening the supply chain concerns, exports of gems and jewellery are still down. Exports in 2022 to 23 fell to 1.76 trillion rupees from 1.82 trillion a year ago. But it is the April to July export figures for this year which have set off alarm bells. Exports have plunged 29% in the first 4 months of this fiscal.
लैब ग्रोन डायमंड है, वो सेम ही प्रॉपर्टी है, सेम मटेरियल है, वो लैब में बनाया जाता है, उसमें अभी ठीक चलता है, उसके हिसाब से जो भी वर्कर है उसको काम मिल जाता है, नहीं तो वो लैब ग्रोन डायमंड नहीं आता तो लगभग हालत बहुत ख़राब होती, जो वर्कर है डायमंड इंडस्ट्री में वो उनकी हालत बहुत ख़राब हो जाती, उनके लिए कि ये लैब ग्रोन सहारा मिल गया है रोजी रोटी के लिए.
Meanwhile, the human toll of Surat crisis is mounting. There have been several suicides over the past few weeks and thousands of layoffs as diamond units adjust to the new geopolitical realities. Associations, however, deny that the suicides are due to layoffs.
जब वर्कर सुसाइड करता है तो उसका नाम रत्न कलाकार से ही सोशल मीडिया, प्रिंट मीडिया, इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स मीडिया के अंदर रत्न कलाकार ने सुसाइड कर लिया, लेकिन वो हेडिंग ही सब लोग देखते हैं, लेकिन उसके पीछे का रीज़न जानने की बहुत ज़रूरत होती है. मेरा मानना है इफेक्ट है, पर लेकिन जो बात हो रही इतनी इफेक्ट डायमंड इंडस्ट्री पर अभी नहीं है.
Surat is also hoping that its brand new 6.7 million square feet diamond bourse will be the good luck charm the industry badly needs. Built at a cost of 32 billion rupees, the bourse can accommodate 67,000 people in 4,200 offices. It is also the largest office space in the world. The Surat industry is hoping that the new office will wean some business away from Mumbai BKC's Bharat diamond bourse, which is currently the world's largest diamond complex. With Sanjay Singh Rathore in Surat, Bureau Report, Business Today Television.
That's where we leave it on the show tonight. Thanks for watching.